So, good evening, everybody. This is HeyCoach, one of the products from the stable of DLI. DLI is an NGO, a registered NGO that stands for Development, Empowerment, and Leadership Initiative. This is an NGO that has the vision of world transformation, one community at a time, one person at a time. So this is one of our products. The product is called HeyCoach. And the whole essence of this product is to afford interested participants, whether you are employed, whether you are a student, whether you are an entrepreneur, an opportunity to get access to coaching and possibly mentoring on the go basis. So, like we've repeated a couple of programs now, it bears repetition until we kind of settle it down that this is not a training, this is not a seminar, this is an open mic kind of conversation where we want to crowdsource ideas, crowdsource experience, crowdsource knowledge to benefit participants. So this is not a training. And as much as we can, we are going to keep time, which is what we've done again today. And the way we have structured the program is such that we try to start early, minimum 15 minutes before the time the room will be open, typically 30 minutes actually, but latest 15 minutes, the link will be open. And then we will do formalities like 5 minutes before the time, and we plan to start on the dot of time. This is part of the training that we hope, the discipline that we hope everybody joining the program will get. Now, the way the program is structured, like I said, it is not a training. So the program is structured in a manner that we have a topic we are discussing. And if you have any topic in mind, by the way, you can send in your topic, and then we will see what is trending, if you like, in the community, and then that guides what we focus on. But to set the ball rolling, we will typically have like a 15-minute presentation on the topic of the day, and the rest of the program will be more like open mic, where people can chime in, share their experience, and share their concerns, ask their questions, and we can learn from one another. As we get bigger, we want to be sure the rules are clear. The expectation is that we will not have more than 2 minutes per contribution, so that it is possible for everybody that wants to speak to have the opportunity to speak. And we have also opened up some channels through which we can continue the conversation. We have a Telegram channel where you can ask for help, you can ask for guidance, you can ask for ideas on the go. And that's the core of this program. It is coaching on the go. You don't need any formal contract, any formal setup, anything. Just have a question, a concern, go in there, drop it in, and then somebody will pick it up and respond to you. And we also have our social media handles that are open. We have the Instagram open. We have some issues with the Twitter account, which we will try to sort. But feel free to jump on the Instagram and ask your questions. And as we get bigger, we will need more people to run the back end of the program. But anybody who's interested now should please feel free to come in. If there are questions now, I'll pause for like 30 seconds. Anybody who has any question on what I've said here should please just open the mic and ask. Otherwise, we will just continue the conversation. If there are no questions, we will just then continue the conversation. Okay, so today, what we are focusing on is transitioning from 9 to 5. And there is a question there, which is really, does anybody have any thought as to why we have that question there? What does that mean? Why are we saying really? Anybody? Let's make this a bit interactive. Why is this really? Any idea?
maybe something like this, John. Okay, John Femi. So
Yes.
that is it possible? Is it feasible?
Okay.
Or
Yes.
something like, are there plans?
Correct.
Or
Yes.
something like,
Correct.
what do you have? What are the plans for the next 2 years?
Very
Typically for the
correct.
next 4 years, or typically for the next 10 years.
Very,
Basically, I mean,
very
so
correct. Thank you, John. Thank you, John. Yes. Any other thought? Why are we saying really? Anybody else? Why do we have really in this caption? So the idea behind the really is that, are you sure? Are you sure? Because a lot of people are there thinking of, oh, I want to leave this paid employment. I want to do, and all they are doing is just getting lost in their, if you like, imaginations, and they are just dreaming things, which is very good because that is where ideas are born. So, but the really here is saying, have you checked it out? Are you sure? And that's exactly what we are trying to deal with today. And as it is typical, we'll start with a quote, try to end with a quote that we hope helps to cement what we're saying. So this quote by Raymond B says that people wait all week for Friday, all year for summer, all life for happiness. I hope you get the gist. The whole essence is, if this is how you live, you are going to spend your whole life waiting for happiness, and there was a point. So if you are part of the crew that kind of cross through the week, and it's always about, oh, thank God it's Friday, and you are just living from one Friday to another Friday, and your Mondays are very drabby, stressful, dreary days, you may want to pay attention to what we are sharing here as to how you can move from running from making Friday a day where it looks like that's the only day you come alive, and once it is Sunday, you start dreading going back to work. So you don't have to wait. You need to find what you need to make every day productive, to make every day fun. And we will be starting that journey today. And if I can just provide some insight, the name of the NGO, like I said, is called DLI, Development, Empowerment, and Leadership Initiative. We have a YouTube channel. And if I remember very well, we have over 300 videos there, different things. And I just went to check, preparing for this program. I think on this entrepreneurship journey, we have maybe 8 or 9 different videos that attacked that concept in a more robust manner. If this is an area that is of interest to you, you may just want to check it up so that you get probably some additional context to the conversations we are going to have today. So the name of that YouTube channel, once again, is Development, Empowerment, and Leadership Initiative. Development, Empowerment, and Leadership Initiative, DELI. Development, Empowerment, and Leadership Initiative. John has dropped the link in the chat room. You may just want to check it out. There are more content. They are not just on entrepreneurship, by the way, other content. So, like we said, this is not a training. So what we like to do is to situate this in the context of reality. Sometimes these are from the people asking the questions. Sometimes this is from the experiences we've had in other conversations. But the whole essence is, let us move away from postulations and conceptualization. Can we get real and see how this is affecting people? And that's why we start with a story every time. So it's always a question, what do I do? And this story is about Caleb. Okay? Caleb was born into a white collar family. And in that family, he grew up seeing his dad sporting those smart suits and going to work and coming back. And as a child, he has always dreamed of also doing the same. And he didn't have to wait too long. He went through school, graduated, went for NYC. At NYC, know about science, skills acquisition, and entrepreneurship, whatever program that they have in the NYSC camp. He just stumbled on graphic design, and he kind of was fascinated by it and just tried to play along with it. Nothing too serious. After the NYC, he got a job, but now he's wiser because he realized that it's not just about wearing suits when it comes to going to work. So, but again, he kept doing his job at the bank, and he kept messing around, if you like, with options that could probably prepare him for the next level. One of the things he tried was HR, but he didn't find the passion for it. So please know that word passion. And so he let go of it. It seems to just revolve now around the graphic and creative design that he was doing. So, and that kind of kept him going. Now, after about 2 years of working, and it was reminded of how long he had stayed in the bank by a card that was dropped on his field. That's already 2 years. He started thinking. He was becoming very antsy, Gen Z, millennial, worrying about, am I adding value? Am I moving? What exactly is going on here? Should I continue? Is it time to move? If I move, what should I do? Is it about getting another job? Is he trying to just become an entrepreneur? He has read something somewhere that said that if you do what you love, you will never work a day in your life. If you do what you love, you will never work a day in your life. I hope somebody takes note of that, because it means that your vocation will become your vacation. Your vocation will become your vacation. You will just have fun wherever you are. But really, he wasn't sure about whether the graphic design was big enough to be something he wants to focus on, because it's never made any money from it. And it looked like the universe was just testing his resolve, because as he was going through all that thought, he got a beep from one of his friends that saying, hey, we got a concert. Can you give us a banner that we'll use for the concert? And then that just threw him into a tailspin, a lot of questions in his head. So if I'm going to, even if I try to start and test the water, how do I go about pricing? All right, with the money I'm going to make here, will it be enough to support me if I stop this job? Will I be able to pay my bills? Should I just continue my job? Nobody's chasing me. It's a good place to work. I love the community there. But really, why should I be living for Fridays? Every Friday, I come alive. From Sunday, I start dreading going back to work. For how long is this going to continue? I am clearly not enjoying this again. I do not know how I should go about it. Maybe I should actually start something, but really, where do I start? All right. And if I don't plan this well, the last thing I want, Caleb is thinking to himself, is to have to be asking for urgent 2K all around. And the question then is, what should Caleb do? What should Caleb do? And if you can situate yourself in this story one way or the other, there are those who from the beginning are clear in their mind that entrepreneurship is for them, they want to go. There are those who are not sure. There are those whose circumstances of life compelled them to become entrepreneurs. And that is why the summary of what we are trying to focus on today is it employment or entrepreneurship? Is it employment or entrepreneurship? Is a question that many people try to answer. So people are very clear in their head from the beginning that this is what I want to do. And so they are more around how do I make it work. Some are not very sure. And so hopefully by the time we are done here, we'll have provided some clarity. And like I said, we have a YouTube channel. The address and the link has been dropped in the chat room. Development, Empowerment, and Leadership Initiative. It is a YouTube channel where we have a lot of different videos, and about 8 or 9 of them are on entrepreneurship. You may want to check it out. But for today, employment or entrepreneurship, which one do you think is for you? Are you ready? Do you have clarity? Do you need help to get clarity? By the time we're done, I'm hoping you will get answers. But before I go too far, I want to make a quick distinction. What is entrepreneurship? Can anybody help us? What is entrepreneurship? What is entrepreneurship? Anybody? What's entrepreneurship? Please unmute your mic and just talk. What's entrepreneurship? Or who? Yes, what's entrepreneurship? Or who is an entrepreneur? Whichever way you want to answer it. The floor is open. Nobody? What is entrepreneurship?
We're trying to, a form of producing services or goods for profit generally. So
okay, producing services or goods for profit. Yes. I'm in a noisy place. May I chat? Yes, Akintunde, yes, you can. Entrepreneurship, John has said, is producing product for profit. Yes. Anybody else? Akintunde, you want to drop your idea here? What's entrepreneurship? Anybody? Feishola, you want to say something?
Yes, an entrepreneur is someone who does business through the creation of systems whereby he can move away from the business and the business will still function effectively in his absence. Unlike someone that is self-employed who cannot move away from his employment, because once he moves away from the employment, he won't be able to fend for himself anymore. But an entrepreneur creates a systems whereby even if he steps away from the business will still run without him effectively.
Fantastic. That's a fantastic answer. Akintunde is saying entrepreneurship is creating value for profit. Spot on. Anybody else want to add anything? But I'm going to flip it for you now so that you understand that many of the things that you have said is correct. But I think if you get this definition I'm about to give, it will help you to appreciate better who an entrepreneur is. So my own definition is that entrepreneurship is problem solving. Entrepreneurship is problem solving. Finding a problem and being able to solve it. And the bigger the problem you are solving, the bigger the value you are going to create, and the bigger the value you are able to appropriate. Now, the word entrepreneur, the etymology of that word, the root of that word says it's a French word. And I don't speak a lot of French, but it's spelled entreprendre. And the meaning is somebody who undertakes. Somebody who undertakes. Which is why entrepreneurship is about solving problem. Somebody is about undertaking to identify problem and solve problem. Now, if this is clear, then this decision of between 9 to 5 becomes a lot clearer, because as we will see shortly, it's not about I want to be a boss of my own. I've been running my own consulting practice now for about over 15 years. And when people come and say they want to be the boss, their own boss, they really don't understand. And I will get to that in a bit. Let me go slowly. So when we therefore talk about entrepreneurship, the cornerstone for entrepreneurship is that there is a problem that you are able to solve in a profitable and sustained manner. And if I land it based on what Feishola shared, an entrepreneur in another sense is somebody who is thinking about building an enterprise. It's completely different from self-employment. Self-employment says, I am me, my business is me, I am working for myself, everything is tied around my leg. The day I'm not able to walk, nothing happens. The day I walk, I make. I share with nobody, but nobody also works with me. Now, you need to ask yourself today what you want to do, because if self-employed is what you want to do, I'm not sure exactly how far you want to go, how far you're able to go with that, because you will not always be able to work. Unfortunately, that's the reality. Even right now that you are young and agile, there will be days when you are not up to it. There will be days when you are not feeling up to it. Health, emotions, the demands, other demands of life. So if all you are doing is how to make that money to buy that next car, and how to make that money to build that house, and it's just you, and you are not trying to build an enterprise, a system, a team that your money can then start working for you down the line and is not always tied around your leg, then really you are not building an enterprise. You are only self-employed. So what we are speaking about today is entrepreneurship. It's up to you to decide whether you want to focus on being self-employed or you want to move to how do you build an enterprise. Now, there are, as obvious as common to other things, there are pros and cons around entrepreneurship. And you see me put a question mark in front of freedom. Many people think that, oh, the driving force for most people that want to start something on their own is, I want to be my own boss. Let me tell you the truth. If freedom is the only reason why you are trying to set up a business and start working to leave employment, sorry, never do it, because it's a mirage. The guy who pays you is actually your boss any day. The question is, are you getting paid via employment or you are getting paid via entrepreneurship? So become an entrepreneur. I'm a consultant. As I sit down here today, my customer calls me tomorrow to say, I need to run an optimization project next week. I need to redesign my process. I need to implement this for us, implement that for us. Everything else stops, people, everything. So this freedom is a mirage. You stop and then you run. And then the guy wakes you up and say, I remember there has been, I coach executives. And there are some of my executives, when I have that coaching arrangement with them, that it's 10 p.m. that is convenient for them to have that call. It does not matter how tired I am. It does not matter what I'm doing. I have to create that time. So this concept of, I'm going to be free, forget it. Forget it. Even if what you are doing is running a shop that has an opening hour and closing hour, when everybody has closed, you are there balancing the books, worrying about the next day. Forget it. It's not real. People say it's an advantage. I don't say it. In fact, it's easier when you are employed. You can go on leave and know that the world will not come to an end. The office has to find a way to run. When you are an entrepreneur, there is no holiday in the jungle. There is no lunch break in the jungle. There is no lunch break. It's every day, every time your head is on fire until you mature the thing to the point where you can then start moving away from it, like Faisal said. But yes, it can give you flexibility. Yes, within certain limitation, it gives you more control. You can choose what you want to do, what you do not want to do. Instead of earning salary, you start earning profit. or instead of earning just salary, you start earning salary plus profit. Because if you are going to be a successful entrepreneur, you should separate yourself from the business. The business should also pay you a salary, like you are being paid a salary, and then the profit is easy to see and run with. It is not so straightforward when you are starting, but that must be how you are trying to run it. And then when you are running this your own business, you have a lot of exposure. When you are an employee, you do one small slice that you have been given to do. When you become an entrepreneur, you have the privilege of seeing the end to end. You can understand, you get the opportunity to understand a whole lot more than you would have if you are just an employee. And of course, you know, there is a different feeling when you conceive something, you start it, you run with it, and you're able to make a success of it. The fulfillment that comes with it, the impact that comes with it, is not the same if it is just employment. So these are some of the things that we find. But like I said, you are always on duty as an entrepreneur, particularly when you are just starting. There is no lunch break. You are the gate man, you are the assistant, you are the procurement officer, you are the HR manager, you are everything. It doesn't even matter how much money you have at startup. If you want to build a proper system, you must apply yourself to it right from the beginning so that you are able to establish the DNA that you want. So there's higher responsibility, and this is very, very serious. Unstable income. That's why entrepreneurship is not something you just jump into, particularly if it is not something you are doing at the very start of your career. You don't just jump into entrepreneurship. If you have been working and you have probably checked some boxes of life, you are married, you have children, you have to shine your eye very well and do a lot of proper planning and staging so that this doesn't mess you up. And sometimes people don't recover from it. When they get messed up, many people may not recover from it for a very long time. So be aware. Entrepreneurship comes with unstable income. Even if what you do is sell a commodity, you are selling gala, it is very, very unstable. Some days are good, some days are not so good. So you need to be prepared for that. It's a risk. You are staging and staking a lot of things on it. You have to make a lot of sacrifice. If I say you're always on duty, that means if you are not enjoying what you are doing, you are going to be very, very stressed. And particularly at the beginning, there are no lunch breaks, there are no holidays. You are always on duty. So you need to think about it and be sure of what you want to do. And entrepreneurship is not straightforward. It's not easy at all. I'm not here to frighten you. I'm just here to let you understand the reality that is on ground. Many entrepreneurs have lost their life, they have lost their health, all in the name of making the business to work, simply because they didn't stage it properly. Entrepreneurship is not easy. Entrepreneurship is not easy. Entrepreneurship is not easy, but it is extremely rewarding if you can find the right path. As you can see, research has been conducted. Unfortunately, we don't have a lot of research about Nigeria, but if you are going to take from the UK and the US, from Europe and America, you will find out that only about 25% of businesses that start go beyond 15 years. About 65% of them will die in the first 10 years. As much as almost half will fail by 5 years. And if you come to Nigeria, available data says that it's very difficult for you to even pay the right pay, to have the right salary for your employees if you want to build an enterprise when you are starting. And that can affect how easy it is for you to attract talent. So it is real. And like I said, I've been in this journey now for over 15 years. I can tell you that it is not straightforward, but it's extremely rewarding, extremely satisfying, particularly if you know exactly what you are trying to do. So we are getting to land now on this segment of this open mic session. And I will talk about the 4 P's, what I consider to be the 4 P's for successful entrepreneurship. Meaning that if you are thinking of entrepreneurship and you are trying to have some logic to how you move from here to there, then you need to know that there are 4 P's that I consider critical for entrepreneurship. The first one is purpose. I am all about purpose. There is nothing I engage on that I'm not talking about purpose. Because you see, when the use of something is not clearly established, abuse is inevitable. Particularly for entrepreneurship, it is very, very tough. It's a road that is strewn with a lot of mines and a lot of trouble. One of the things that keeps you going is purpose. Because once you lose purpose and you are trying to do it because there is money there, and you are trying to do it because everybody's doing it, you are trying to do it because it is glamorous. When the push gets to shove, you will not be able to pull through that session because it is not connected to purpose. So even though this conversation this evening is not about purpose, I beg you to please find the space to answer the purpose question. Like I said, we have a YouTube channel, Development, Empowerment, and Leadership Initiative. We have materials there on purpose. What is your life purpose? Why are you here? How do you determine, how do you discover purpose? How do you activate purpose? How do you deepen purpose? We've covered all that there, but the point we are making here is you must establish the purpose for what you are doing. So the first is purpose. The second is problem. There must be the problem that you are trying to solve. The third is the personality you need to have. And the fourth are the proficiencies that you must build. So if you understand the purpose question, it helps you to know what is your why. How is that why expressed? So somebody is in the creative world. The creativity may be in writing software programs. Somebody else's creativity is in theater arts. Somebody else's creativity is in graphic design. What is your why? How is that why expressed? And what impact are you trying to make? You need to be able to answer your why question. Then the problem element of it is, what exactly is the problem that you are trying to solve? What is that thing that is irritating people? That thing that they are not able to achieve full value because it is existing or it is lacking? What is that obstacle that people have to scale? Imagine right now if somebody is able to find a way to bring dollars into Nigeria, a legal means of bringing dollars into Nigeria, that person is going to make a lot of money. Or somebody able to refine petrol profitably or provide power profitably. So what is that thing that people are looking for them to be able to have a better life, a richer life? Once you've established purpose, you must establish what the problem is that you are trying to solve. And then the third variable is personality. But before I get into personality, when I speak about problem, I want to quickly learn that you need to know that it is not all the time you have to worry about invention. Please, can you unmute your mic and let me know, what is your understanding of the difference between invention and innovation? What's the difference? What is innovation? What is invention? What is the difference? Or what are the differences? Anybody?
Innovation, invention is basically making something very new, very, research-based generally, and something that scientifically or economically has never been done, or a product that's never occurred. But innovation is something that has been done, but you are doing it in a better way, to get more return on investment, or in better way, scaling it better, because sometimes the product has worked, but it's not scalable. It's not working or something. So that's what I felt.
Thank you very much. Any other contribution, innovation, invention? You are very spot on. But any other angle to it from anybody? Innovation, invention. So innovation is messing around with something that currently exists. How do you find new uses for old things? Somebody is saying no audio. Can anybody hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, so Teresa is saying no audio. You need to check your end.
I can hear you, please.
You need to check your end. Maybe you want to log out and log back in, but it's not from my end. It looks like it's not from my end. Sorry about that. So innovation is about messing around with existing things, finding new uses for old things, adapting and adopting old things to create new value. Apple was not the one that invented mobile phone, but he was able to take mobile phone and flip it and turn it into a smart device. And they completely unlocked a segment of the market that they have dominated now for so long. All right. So, but you go to invention, go and read this, the Graham Bell, how the telephone came about. That's the invention part. And then from analog to digital to 2G to 3G to 4G to 5G, some are written about 6 and 7G now. So you don't have to be an inventor to find a problem to solve. And it's not all these problems that are even for profit. There are social entrepreneurs. There are those who are just interested in making sure that malaria is eradicated from Nigeria. There are some who want to be sure that there are no stagnant water in any community. Some are interested in taking all the street children off the street. Some want to focus on widows. Some want to focus on those who are in prison. How do we rehabilitate them? That is why we started from the purpose question. If the use of something is not established, the abuse and misuse is inevitable. So your journey to entrepreneurship should not be based on it's flashy, it's attracting money, it's there, everybody's doing it. No, because purpose is what keeps you going. Then after the problem and the personality that you have to build, and I use the word build because nobody is all complete. There's a Chinese proverb that says that if you cannot give a smile, don't open a shop. So you want to be an entrepreneur, you know already that you cannot go it alone, but you are not friendly. You cannot network. You cannot negotiate. You cannot interact. You are not a giver. You don't want to take risk. You don't want to lose anything. Once you lose something, you brood, you bottle, and then you break down on top of it. Hey, it can't work. You have a paradigm that makes it look like, oh, everybody's around you to take from you. It's a problem. You have a paradigm that suggests that the whole world is against you. It's a problem. There is a DNA that you need to have for you to succeed as an entrepreneur. If you want to be the smartest dog, the biggest dog in the kennel, the smartest head around every conversation, you can't build a successful entrepreneurship because you must be willing to attract people who are smarter than you. All right? That was what Ford did. He wasn't an engineer, wasn't anything, but he attracted the best brain, and today we have all the different cars that we have. So the first one is purpose. The second one is problem. The third is personality. And part of this personality, we are not speaking about the behavior. You have to be passionate. You have to be curious. You must be able to take initiative. You must be action-driven. It takes a lot of discipline. It takes a lot of grit. In fact, the last item here, grit, has been found to be one of the most critical predictor of success. Grit speaks to having the staying power, persistence, being able to stick with it through thick and thin. There is not one successful entrepreneur. Not one that will tell you, I dreamt, I did, and it came out. It doesn't work that way. It's never a straight line. From Alibaba to Steve Jobs to name them, Elon Musk, name all of them. It never goes straight. So if you don't develop these behaviors, you cannot expect to deliver an outstanding enterprise. So from purpose to problem to personality and then proficiency, native intelligence is not enough. Once you have decided what you want to do, become an apprentice. And it is so easy at this our time. So easy. YouTube is there. Oracle, Google is there. Just dig it up. There's nothing you want to do, including conducting brain surgery today, that you won't find knowledge about. Don't go through it with native intelligence. Ask questions. Build domain expertise. Learn how to execute. Learn how to lead. Learn strategy. Whatever you need to learn, learn. If it's an area you know, still learn. If it's a new area to you, go and become an apprentice. Dig it up, learn. If you miss any of these four, it is extremely difficult for you to find the combination you need to get you to where you want to get to. So, as I learned now, you got purpose, you got problem, you got, what's the third one now? Personality, and then you got the proficiency. These four are the critical building blocks for successful entrepreneurship. Now, the last content here is, let's go through the DIY, do it yourself. What are the few steps? I like to reduce every concept to a few steps that you can start applying right now that can move you from where you are to where you want to get to. So, like I said, the first thing is find the problem. The second thing, you need to find people who are willing to pay for the solution. Not all problems are people willing to pay for, either because they don't consider it such a big issue, or it's actually something that they love to do. So you need to be sure that the problem you are trying to solve is a problem that people are willing to pay for. And you need to ensure that the people that are willing to pay for this, they are big enough to support your business. You need to calibrate that market. Is it a market that's going to dry up after the first round of usage? Is it a market that can support you consistently where there's repeat business? If you don't have enough demand, then you are really not going to be to stay on that journey for long. So find the problem, find the people willing to pay for it, calibrate the market so you know exactly what size of market you are dealing with, and then make sure that you have the competency you need to solve the problem. So if you don't have it, go and build it. But don't try to do it through native intelligence. It doesn't work. Then once you've built the competency, you then need to be able to confirm that you can solve that problem profitably. Because now that you know enough, you're able to say, no, it's not so straightforward. This is involved, that is involved, this is involved. If I try to solve this problem, my cost is going to be X naira. If I ask people to pay X plus Y, will they be interested in paying? Do they consider this problem appropriate for me, for them to pay this amount of money? Is the reason why some technology never became mainstream. You see how long solar has been around? It's just becoming mainstream right now because it is now getting cheaper and cheaper, and people can now look towards it. If you look at the electric vehicles, it's not new, but it's been very expensive to build until recently now that data is suggesting that it's actually cheaper for you to run your electric vehicle than to run vehicle with diesel or petrol. Then it becomes very attractive. If you remember when GSM first came, SIM card was initially 50,000, then 20,000 naira. If it has stayed at 50,000 naira, how many people have been able to buy it? So you need to confirm now that you know enough that you can do it profitably over time. And once you've done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which is find a problem, ensure people are willing to pay for it, ensure you have a market that is big enough, ensure that you have the capacity to solve it, ensure that you can solve it profitably, then build a customer base. And I'll come to this customer base because many people trying to start out on a business think that what they need is a big shop or a big office or a big website or a big app. No, your first problem and the biggest problem is find customers. If you can find one customer and you can make it 2, and you can make it 4, and you can make it 6, and you can make it 8, you find out therefore that to jump from one lane to another becomes less stressful. Now, as I wrap up, the question then is, if you are currently in employment and you want to switch, or you are thinking, having answered all these questions and you are affirmative that yes, I am onto something that I will enjoy and that will take me to where I want to go to, then there is something else you need to do, which is going to be either the topic of our next session, or if the questions go around it, we try and answer it today. There is the process of actually transitioning. You don't just wake up, resign, and then think that it is a smart way to go it from the beginning and start from zero by resigning. There is a method to that madness. There is a sequence that will minimize your pressure. There is a sequence that will minimize your discomfort. So we can get onto that if anybody's interested in that right now. We just talk about it. But the points I've covered today are the foundational things around you want to transition to entrepreneurship, understand the 4 P's, understand the steps that you need to take to assure yourself that you are onto something good, and then stage it very well. I've already alluded to this in the course of my presentation, that if the only reason you want to get into entrepreneurship is thinking that you will work less and you have more freedom and you make more money and everything will be dandy and smooth, sorry, entrepreneurship is not for you. Entrepreneurship is about solving problems. And if you really want to solve problems, then you are invited to go through what we've shared and see how to build yourself for that journey. And you will certainly enjoy it because it's a very, very fulfilling journey. So, as I land, if you get this right, whether it is in employment or it is in entrepreneurship, if you make every day look like Friday, meaning you wake up on Monday and you are energized to face whatever it is that you are doing, you will realize that there will be a new level of enthusiasm in your life. And this is very important because life is too short. Before you know it, you have added 10 years to your age. Before you know it, you have added 20 years to your age. And that's it. It doesn't wait. Tick-tock, say the clock. What you have to do quickly. So thank you, everybody, for your time. And now the mic is open for anybody who wants to have contribution and addition. The floor is open. Let's have a conversation. So are there specifics that you want us to now go over? Are there experiences that you want to share? Are there questions you need clarifications on? Feel free now. You have the floor to ask your questions, and I'm sure somebody here will have something to contribute. Thank you very much for having me here this evening. So, who wants to go next? Any question? Any comments? Fumilayo, I have a question. Go ahead, Fumi. Fumi, go ahead. Either you type or you unmute and talk.
Oh, good evening, sir.
Good evening, Fumilayo.
Yes, sir. I want to ask, how would somebody or an individual who is already in the workforce, who is employed, but wants to transit to entrepreneurship, and the person needs to get target market? I'll say it's me. I want to, and I am working based on the fact that I don't have any of capital, so I need the salary where I'm working. But I don't have the time for me to make target markets and to meet people, and also try to work on production where I can balance and make profit and at the same time sell it at a cheaper price. So how can I do that? How can I work on that?
Okay, I'm not sure I heard you very well. Is it possible to go over it again? You are currently working. Let me try and paraphrase. If I got it right, then say yes. You are currently working. You have a business idea.
Yes, sir.
You are working because you don't have the capital to get that business going. But
Yes,
the work you are doing is also not allowing you to do what now?
to be able to go out and meet the target market.
Okay, so the
Apart
business,
from being online.
the salaried work you are doing right now is limiting your ability to develop your business.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so the question is, how do you go about it?
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you. Very brilliant question. So you are leading me to something I was hoping we'll discuss. But before I answer, anybody here, please, want to chime in and help Fumilayo? Anybody has any contribution to that question? He currently works, which is similar. Yes, Ibuku, please go ahead.
I have a question myself.
Is it a question? Is it related to this one?
Yes, an addition to that.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, I want to know if entrepreneurship is the goal from a 9 to 5, because in my own head, it seems, or the gospel room preaches 9 to 5 is not lucrative. It does not have like a good end. Once you become a boss of your own, when you are old, then you can have a steady source of income. That's usually the gospel I think I hear regularly. So I want to know if entrepreneurship or having a business of your own is the end goal when somebody works or when people are working, or if you can do a 9 to 5 and still be financially okay even when you are old. Then for my entrepreneurship journey, I just wanted to share that it's difficult. I started one poultry farm, and it cost me a lot of millions. I learned the very hard way. On paper, it looked very easy, but in actual fact, with all the changing economics and dynamics, I also learned that it's not as easy as it seems.
Yes, every business makes money on Excel. There's no business that does not make a profit on Excel spreadsheet. Every business. So, but you have added something to the question, which is it that everybody must end up as an entrepreneur?
Yes.
For that person to be successful at the end of their life, that's what you are saying. Correct?
Yes, correct. Exactly.
Okay, so let's unpack. Let's start with Fumi's question. Anybody wants to help with Fumi's question? Fumi is saying, I got a job, but I also have a business idea that I'm persuaded about. So she sounds like she has checked all those boxes we went through and she's ready to run with it because she's very clear in her head. However, she's playing a game of catch-22. On one hand, she needs to stay alive, which is where she's doing a salaried job. She's currently employed. But in the process of trying to make a living, she's concerned that she's about losing track or the opportunity to develop her vision and her dream. So how can she go about it?
Well,
Anybody?
well, I just say some few things from my little experience. I mean, so this is John Abe. So
Yes.
generally, what I would prefer is just like what Mr. Marquand has, presented. It's better you start to test the water now that you are employed. I'm sure you can easily get agent to try some of those emerging markets if they are really feasible. I'm sure you've heard what the other Mr.
IBK, yes.
IBK said about, it's not, business is always good on Excel. That's the truth.
Yes.
The market is changing, and then we are also not even generally not in Africa, but even globally now, the market is very, very unstable. So that's the right word. So talk less of now you want to ship to the entrepreneurship, and then go away with the ship. But the right way is, test the water. Like you said, the grit is very important. So what do you do on Saturday, for example? I'm not just trying, I'm just giving that as an example. Can you test it on Saturday? Can you find a part-time staff to work on some of those emerging markets for yourself? So I'm just giving a broad view, but do not resign because you need to test the water. It's good in your brain that the idea is very good, but do you have the market? Do you have these services? Is it really going to scale? Or you just know about 10 clients now? 10 clients is not going to hold you. Are you going to be able to scale it to 100 and 1,000 and then continue? So those are the things that are in my mind.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. John. Fantastic contribution. Yes, any more? Fumi, you want to shed some light into exactly the line of business you are in, or the dream, the idea that you are trying to develop?
Yes, sir.
Go ahead.
Okay, the product is all about ready-made stew or soup ingredients for working career individuals and students. Being that it is really difficult, time-consuming when you go shopping for all these products after an hectic day. So these things are the ingredients are ready-made, are packaged in a way that you can use it easily whenever you need it, and you don't need to stress yourself going to the market to get it.
Okay, so what I wanted to establish without you giving away too much is, so will it require you to set up a production plant?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so now, any other, I just wanted that to come out because I don't have the full view. Now, question is, anybody wants to add anything before I try to do some conversation around it? Okay, so for me, let me ask you some questions. Right now, if I was standing in front of you physically and I say, how much do you need now? What will you use that money for? What is your projection for sales? And by what day or month or how many units of this product do you need to sell before you can make a profit? Can you answer that question, those questions right now?
Yes, sir.
You can
To
answer
a greater extent.
You can answer all these questions right now.
Yes, sir.
Okay, let me go through it again. So let's even start. How much do you need? Just for conversation purposes, how much do you need?
tmak.
About 5 million, sir.
Yes, John.
Oh, okay. I think it was my network. I thought I couldn't hear you.
About 5 million, Abi? Hello?
Yes, sir.
For what?
Yes, sir.
For what?
For one, advertisement purpose. 2, to get a good production site. 3, to purchase the materials that will be needed for equipment for
Okay, so I'm looking at the equipment. Have you established?
For approval from NAFDAC.
The equipment you are buying, are they going to be sourced locally or they are going to be imported?
They can be sourced locally.
Okay, so the point I'm therefore making is this period is a period, to John's point, for you to build your business case. See, life is a journey. Don't get too agitated about it. Colonel Sanders, that owns KFC, started that brand when he was 65. I'm not saying you wait till 65, but the first thing you need to do is to build the business case. And maybe we can talk about this continuing offline. You need to be very clear. If you say how much land do you need? Do you know where your raw material comes from? This is not just head knowledge or anecdotal knowledge. That's not what we are talking about. Serious research. You have take the employment as an incubation process, an incubation period, where somebody is paying you. To John's point, it can be your evening, it can be your weekend, it can be your leave, it can be your public holidays, to build your business case. These are not emotional things. You are determining, like I have worked on production processes before. What production capacity are you trying to put in? What quantity of raw materials will you need for that capacity? Where will they come from? What are the average prices? Are they denominated in Naira? Are they denominated in dollars? Then you go to the demand side. Who will buy? Is there anybody currently selling something like that in the market? How are they doing? Are you even sure that this is something people would like to sell? The question in my head as you started to talk is, there are people currently who are cooking fresh soup. There's a market currently that is emerging in Nigeria where on Instagram, people just advertise, come to us for your soup. These are not frozen or packaged. You can order any soup. Once you give them the time you want it, they will deliver the soup to you fresh. Question is, how is that market doing? Do you think that with the existence of such market, do you think there's a market? You need to answer this question as thoroughly and with as much data as you can get. Because if there is business here and you use this period of employment to develop the business case, what will happen is once your materials and your business case documents are ready, you keep knocking on investors' door. You will find one money. There is a lot of money looking for where to express themselves once they understand what you are trying to do. If you build a compelling case, somebody will sponsor you to start. And if there is a way you can start in small bits, which is actually more powerful than waiting for an investor. If there's a way you can start, even if what you are selling every week is 1, or every month is 5, every month is 7, but consistently you can show, I started with 3 people, this one became 5, became 10, became 15, even if you have not made 1 naira from it, but you can show that there is a customer base, somebody will fund you somewhere down the line. The second, which is very close to what John has said, Ebukun has said, is, see, entrepreneurship is not for everybody. And you do not need to become an entrepreneur to live a full life. So don't believe that gospel. But the gospel is that you cannot sit down on just earning salary and think that you are preparing for a peaceful old age. You must create assets. Again, go to that YouTube channel. We have this already. We have material on retirement. We have materials on creating assets. You must create assets. I'm not defining assets the way accountants define assets. I'm talking about assets as something that pays you. So everybody, including the entrepreneur is not setting up an enterprise because he wants to be working there when he's old. No, not necessarily. He's setting it up such that when he is not able to continue to work, that thing will continue to work, and then he can be making whatever he needs to live from that thing. So entrepreneurship is not the only road. If you go to that YouTube channel, we've spoken about investment. if you start from running a budget, you then learn to save. And then when you build enough cash position, you then learn to invest. Don't be worried, you will lose some. But if you win more than you have lost in shares, in property, you may not have the appetite to run a business. Like Fumilayo has spoken now. You have built a war chest, and then you meet a Fumilayo, and you understand her business, and you give her small to start, and you take up like 20, 30% of her business. You don't need to worry yourself. She runs the business because she's passionate about it. She makes profit, you get 30% of it, and the thing grows. So you do not need, entrepreneurship is not for everybody. That's the mistake everybody is making. It is not for everybody. No, it is not for everybody. If it is not for you, you have another alternative, which is just make sure you are creating assets. Live on a budget. Save, invest. Invest will lead to returns that will create the cash flow you need. The other thing you need for retirement is mental engagement. Because if you are idle and you are indolent and you are not moving, science has shown that such people die faster. So if entrepreneurship is not for you, then find a passion you can invest yourself in, a course, a group, an NGO you can volunteer for, so that when the money problem is solved through the investment that you have made, you can then continue to be productive. You wake up every morning, there is a place where your mind is going. There is a therapy that comes from work. Work is therapeutic. If you have been jobless, you will know what I'm talking about. There is more to work than money. There is more to work than title. There's more to work than cars. Work in itself, waking up and having a place to go and having something to do and being involved in something worthwhile is therapeutic. It helps your brain, it helps your health. So if entrepreneurship is not for you, from the career that you are running, run a budget, save, invest, create cash flow. From the cash flow that you are creating, you have taken care of your financial need. Then get yourself involved in something that excites you, which is where we started from, purpose. And commit that thing now that you are active, so that you are not starting it when you are old. And then today may just be 1% of your time. But as you get older and you rise in your career, it can then become 5% of your time, 10% of your time, takes up more and more and more, so that when you are fully disengaged from the world of work, you are not disengaged from productivity. You can still wake up and go somewhere and give of your time and give of your resource and stay connected. That's one of the things that research has shown. Connectedness to the society is one of the predictors of healthy old age and long life. So once you have those things checked, then you are going to be fine. But please, if entrepreneurship is not for you, don't shook head, like we will say in local parlance. Don't shook head. Like you have said, you can lose money. In fact, the pain of the money you've lost can kill you. Can kill you. So if it is not for you, you can still lead a full productive life, but you can't do that unless you are creating assets. You must create assets. And that's not the topic for today. You can find some content on our YouTube channel. The link and the name is in the chat room, and we can come back to that. If you guys want us, you can write in and say, we want you to talk about this area, and then we can schedule it as one of our topics. Did I help you, Fumi?
Yes, sir. Very well, sir. I'm grateful.
IBK, did I help you? Ibuku, did I answer your question?
Yes, you did, sir.
Okay. Any other question from anybody? Any other question? Any other question? Okay. In the absence of any other question, all I will say is thank you so much for your time. But before we go, yes, John?
The poll, please.
Yeah, I was going to say before we go, please just, John is going to administer a poll right now. I think there are just 3 questions. It takes less than 30 seconds to do it. The poll is up. Please just respond. Let's know how useful this has been, and if there are comments and feedback to give, please let's know. But please help us complete the poll. Help us complete the poll. Help us complete the poll. There are 3 questions only. Just let's know what you think and be brutally honest with us, because your feedback is extremely valuable. So we appreciate your time today. We will be uploading the recording to the DLI YouTube channel, and we will be sharing the link subsequently, and we hope to make it a date in August as well. The Lord tarrying and sparing our lives to talk about something else. And if there's anything you would like to have us talk about, please just drop the questions. You can send it by mail. I also invite you to join the HeyCoach Telegram group, where you can get support on the go as it is hot. Just drop it there. Somebody will pick it up and provide guidance. And if you don't want to be from you, if you don't want to drop it directly onto the group, you can drop it with myself. If you go to the group, you'll see my name there. You can just DM me and drop the question. I can then take it back to the group without mentioning your name, and then we'll crowdsource, and then I'll put my own thoughts on it. So, how many people have responded now? How many people do we have here? I think we're supposed to be like, how many?
3 people have responded.
Please, can we get
expecting about 6? We're expecting 6 responses. Okay, now 4.
Please, can we get the 2 more people to just respond? And let's just know what you think. All right. So once again, we really appreciate your time. The link for the Telegram link for HeyCoach is being dropped in the group chat, in the chat room. So you may just click on it and then just opt in. You'll see some of the questions have been answered already, and you can ask your own either directly to the group or just drop it with me, and then I'll take it to the group chat and we can continue the conversation from there. So I'm grateful once again that you spared the time to be here today. And it's really not about the number, even though we believe many more people need to hear about this. So one thing you will also do for us is spread the word. But even if it's one person that is benefiting from this, it's worth the investment. But help us spread the word. Share the link to the past recordings. Share the link to the next sessions once you see them. Share the link for the HeyCoach Telegram page. And let's see how we can reach more people. Like I said, the vision of the NGO is world transformation, one man at a time, one community at a time. So let's join that crusade and see how we can benefit other people. Any other thing from anybody else? All right. So thank you so much for your time this evening. I wish you all the best for August, and please stay safe, and God bless you. I'll stop to share, and I leave it to John Titiloye to close us for the evening. Thank you very much for your time.